Today we're going to talk about quoted and reported speech. Quoted and reported speech is also known as direct and indirect speech. In quoted speech, we use quotation marks, and we use a comma between our reporting verb phrase and our quoted speech, and we also use the exact words of the speaker. A reporting verb phrase is very simple. It's something like he said or she said, or he told me. So it's a subject plus one of these reporting verbs and sometimes an object. In indirect speech, also known as reported speech, there's no quotation marks, there's no comma, but we do use that between the reporting verb phrase and the reported speech. He said that. And we also don't use the exact words. There are some verb tense changes and some time changes and pronoun changes. In quoted speech, here's some examples. So he said, traffic was bad this morning. So we have our reporting verb phrase, he said, followed by comma, then quotation marks, traffic was bad this morning, period, and then quotation marks. I'm going to leave soon, she said. We have quotation marks. I'm going to leave soon, comma, then our quotation marks, and then our reporting verb phrase, she said, period. They said, reporting verb phrase, comma, quotation marks, we might stay an extra day, period, quotation marks. The next one starts with quotation marks, it will be cold tonight, comma, quotation mark, we said, reporting verb phrase, period. Just a quick note, commas always stay next to the first part of the sentence. Before we start changing our quoted speech into reported speech, let's take a look at some of these examples. So he said, we start with that. Traffic stays the same. Was is going to change. Was is going to change to had been. And then this morning is going to change to that morning. I'm going to leave soon, she said. She said. So we've got to take our reporting verb phrase and we're going to move it to the front so we can do our reported speech. She said that. I is going to change to she. Am going is going to change to was going. And then there's nothing else that changes. They said we might stay an extra day. They said that. We changes to they. Might, there's no change. Stay an extra day stays the same. We said it will be cold tonight. So we're going to take our reporting verb phrase and we're going to move it all the way over to the front of our sentence to make our reported speech. We said that, and then it stays the same. Will changes to would. Be cold tonight changes to that night. So everything that you see is circled is what changes. So we have was changed to had been. This morning changed to that morning. Am changed to was. And we changed to they. And will change to would. And tonight changed to that night. So let's remind ourselves of some of the changes that quoted speech and reported speech go through. So if we start with quoted speech, simple present changes it can stay the same, simple present, or it changes to simple past. If we have simple past, present perfect, or past perfect, it's going to change to past perfect. If we have present progressive, it changes to past progressive. Let's take a look at modals. If we have quoted speech, modals may or might, can or could, will or would, should, ought to, and ought to. So some of these are changing, and some of these are staying the same. Let's take a look at time. We have today, that day, tonight, that night, tomorrow, the next night. That should say the next day. Yesterday, the day before, next week, the following week, last month, the month before. So in this space right here, you could write month, week, or year, and you would just change it accordingly as it matches. And then there's the last few couple of changes. Here changes to there, now changes to then, this changes to that, these changes to those. So those are all of our changes. So let's take a look at a little example to help walk you through how those changes would happen. So let's pretend here that we've got two friends. They're reading their books, their grammar books, and they're drinking coffee. And there's no more coffee in the coffee pot. So we've got two people here reading. They're drinking coffee. There's no more coffee left over. So what happens? So your friend walks in and they say, "Good morning." And they reach for the coffee pot. But there's nothing in it. Meanwhile, the two friends who are reading, they're busy reading. They're not paying attention. He realizes there's no more coffee, so he says, "I'm going to get some coffee." I'm going to go to Starbucks. So the friend leaves. Meanwhile, the two friends are still reading, and they suddenly realize that their friend is gone. One friend looks up and realizes, did he say something? But the other person can't exactly remember what he said. I'm going to buy Starbucks for you? That sounds about right. He said that he was going to buy Starbucks for us. So that's what he thinks he said, but they don't know because they weren't paying attention. Ooh la la. So here comes the friend back with the Starbucks drink. And the friend anxiously, eagerly awaiting his own drink. Ooh, what did you get us? So the friend says nothing. Why? Well, you said that you were going to buy us Starbucks. Yes? So the friend says, no, I said that I was going to Starbucks. There's no coffee. See? Oh, okay. let's talk about commas. So just like I discussed in class earlier, commas are a little bit like puppies or kittens, whichever you prefer to think about. And usually the pet will go to the person who pays more attention, feeds them, walks them, plays with them, things like that. So I have here a picture of a person that's sad because the puppy's not going to him, and a picture of the person that's happy because they have the puppy food and the puppy goes to that person. And commas in quoted speech work the same way. So here we have, he said, this is right. And number 2 says, I like tea, she said. Now, in the first one, our reporting verb phrase comes first, he said. And just like a puppy, just like a person with the food, right, here's our little person. They've got the puppy food. There's the puppy bowl with the puppy food in it. Okay, there goes the puppy, just like a comma, and it'll go right there next to he said because that comes first. And with this next one, it says, I like tea, she said, and I like tea comes first. So, just like the person with the food, still here, still in front, still has the puppy food. There's the bowl of puppy food. There goes the puppy, just like the comma. So it doesn't matter which comes first. The comma always goes right next to whatever comes first, and then the quotation marks. Okay. So in this case, it's outside the quotation marks, and in this case, it's inside the quotation marks. So now it's time to quiz yourself. Quiz yourself. Simple present changes to what? You've got 2 answers here. Past perfect in reported speech is 3 possible answers here for quoted speech. Present progressive changes to what in reported speech? Next page. Practice makes perfect. We've got modals. Would will give us 2 answers in quoted speech. Might in reported speech will give us could in reported speech. Had to, 1, 2, and 3. Should, 1, and down here way at the bottom is ought to. What goes there? Keep on quizzing. Few more things to remember. In reported speech, that day, that night, tomorrow, the day before, the following something changes to, and then last something changes to. Okay, if you don't know your answers, make sure you check your sheets. Now let's do a little bit of practice. He said, this one is mine. She said, I ate dinner earlier. They said, we will go tomorrow. We said, this place should be open next week. Now my piece of advice to you is this. As you go through quoted and reported speech, you will learn more complex forms. The changes are the easy part. So always do the changes first, look at the quoted speech, circle the things that will change, and then do the other things that you need to do as you get into more complex forms. So he said, this one is mine. This is going to change, is going to change, and mine is going to change. She said, I ate dinner earlier. I ate. They said, we will go tomorrow. We will end tomorrow. We said this place should be open next week. This should is going to stay the same and next week. So the answer for number 1, he said, this one is mine. He said that one was his. Number 2, she said, I ate dinner earlier. She said that she had eaten dinner earlier. Number 3, they said, we will go tomorrow. They said that they would go the next day. And the last one, we said this place should be open next week. We said that place should be open the following week. So there you have it, a little bit of practice, a little bit of notes, some review, and some things to help you prepare for what we will begin later this week.